Good morning and welcome to opening day for the 2017 Great New York State Fair. I am County Executive Joni Mahoney on behalf of Onondaga County. We love being the host county and welcoming people from across the state to Central New York for this year, for the first time, a 13-day New York State Fair. And yes, thank you, Governor. And I have had the pleasure of working with Governor Cuomo as he has focused on the state fair. I grew up here in Central New York, and we experienced the fair year after year after year. Not a lot changed, as the governor noticed and pointed out, and he has made tremendous investment in the state fair and in the whole area around here. We could not have done what has happened here on the west side of Onondaga Lake without the support of Governor Cuomo and his team at the state. And I hope while you're here, you'll see the improvements that are being made on Main Street there on Milton Ave in the village of Solvay. Bridge Street has been redone. There's a beautiful new pedestrian walkway and the new pedestrian gate that the governor's investment paid for last year, so people will be able to walk into the fair. The new docks at the Lakeview Amphitheater, all the tremendous shows we've had. We could not have done that amphitheater project, and now the governor's team is working on new parking and a new on-ramp to 690. We have new exhibits this year, new rides. And one of the biggest things that happened last year, a lot of the state's investment went into upgrading the infrastructure. I don't think that's me. I don't think that's me. The one thing that you won't see is all of the improvements that went into the infrastructure. A lot of things were done underground, and that made way for that beautiful new midway that we have this year. So I just want to make sure that people here understand that after several years of really letting the state fair decline, Governor Cuomo came in, he toured the fair with us. He said it looked very much the same way it did when he came here with his own father and knew that it needed a real investment. And it's turning into an asset for us that will attract people year-round. And what that does for us in Central New York, to have people come here year-round, our businesses thrive, our county government is helped, and I just want to make sure that you all know that none of this could have happened without Governor Cuomo's focus and the team of people that he has assembled here that do the work. So let me please tell you who's here up on the stage, and there are a lot of folks here, so hold your applause till I get to the end. But we are welcomed here with Senator John DeFrancisco, Senator Dave Valesky, Senator Patty Ritchie, Senator Joe Griffo, Assemblyman Al Sturpey, the town of Geddes, our hometown here, Jerry Albrigo, the supervisor, the president of the Syracuse Common Council, Van Robinson, the two co-chairs of the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council, Rob Simpson and Dr. Danielle LaRoccarena, the president of the Central and Northern New York Building and Construction Trades, Greg Lancette, the president of the Central New York Area Labor Federation, Anne Marie Talaricio, the president and CEO of Empire State Development, Howard Zemsky, the commissioner of New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, Richard Ball, the commissioner for New York State Department of Labor, Roberta Reardon, commissioner of the New York State Department of Transportation, Kathy Calhoun, commissioner of New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, Sam Roberts, superintendent of the New York State Police, George Beach II, the incoming executive director of the New York State Thruway Authority, Matthew J. Driscoll, president and CEO of the New York State Power Authority, Gil Quinones, chairman of the New York State Public Service Commission, John Rhodes, director of the New York State Canals Corporation, Brian Stratton, and all of our other local elected officials and friends of the Great New York State Fair who are joining us here today. Let's give them all a round of applause. And it is my honor now to introduce to you the President and CEO of Empire State Development, Howard Zemsky. Howard and his team, along with our co-chairs, Rob Simpson and Dr. Danielle LaRoccarena, really do a good job of focusing what our local priorities are, and those priorities get the state's attention and the state's investment, and it turns out to be just a tremendous asset for all of us here in Central New York. And the man who leads the way for Empire State Development, Howard Zemsky.
All right, good morning, everyone. Great to be here in Syracuse at the fair. You gotta love, love, love the state fair. I want to recognize County Executive Joni Mahoney, because I can tell you at ESD, we don't get things done without the support of local municipalities. The state of New York and economic development has no better friend, and I know my colleagues in state government feel the same way. Working with Joni as county executive, we have no better partner in the state of New York, so I want to say that. You know, we have come a long, long way at this fair. It was just 2 years ago that the governor expressed his vision to upgrade this fair, to make it not just better, but to make it the greatest state fair in the country. Our fair growers have responded in a big way. Over 1.1 million visitors, a record for the state fair. But the governor wasn't done, and if you know him the way I know him, that wouldn't surprise you. That wasn't good enough. And this year we worked to finish up some of the key components of Phase 1, and I just want to take it through some of those. The State Police exhibit, as you may know, has a brand new location and new buildings, just in time, notably for their 100th anniversary. Give it up for the State Police. We have improved Indian Village to reconstruct Turtle Mound, which I know is a favorite. We repaved the Midway for easier access. And the Broadway Skyliner, the brand new chairlift ride, is making its debut today. The first 100 people will ride free every day of the fair. All right, that's good news. The fair has always supported its craft beverage producers, but this year it held its first ever professionally judged beer competition. I was one of the judges. 20 state craft brewers won top honors in their category. 20. I tried all of them. It was excellent. I still feel the effects. That was some time ago. Glad to be with you today. Governor's Excelsior Cup was awarded to Threes Brewing in Brooklyn. Is anyone here from Brooklyn? All right. Cool. Anyone here from Threes Brewing? All right. How did I know? All right. We have new competitions this year from an expanded Taste New York food truck competition. How many of you have had food from a food truck? All right. Those are super popular. And we also have the fair's first ever drone video competition. Drone video competition. Have any of you done the drone video competition yet? All right, good. I'll challenge any of you to the drone video competition, since none of you have done it. And the new I Love New York exhibit, promoting tourism in the north wing of the Center of Progress building. You can now try selfie stations featuring New York canoeing, fishing, hiking, adventures, and race day at Watkins Glen International. You know, agriculture has traditionally been the heart of the fair. We all know that. So there are new barn tours to educate fairgoers about New York agriculture, and an expanded Taste New York area in the horticulture building. And next year, we will also be completely revamping the dairy products building, including the famous dairy bar. Folks, you have to give it up for the dairy bar. You really don't need anything more in life than dairy products, truth be told. Right? You got good milk, good ice cream, butter, and cream cheese. What else do you really need than that? Maybe a bagel. If we had a dairy bar and then put next to it a bagel bar, and then maybe a whitefish bar, we'd be done. So now it would have been easier again with the dairy bar, the bagel bar, and the whitefish bar for the governor to have kicked back and said, we are done. But no, we have still more to do, and that's why I'm going to talk about phase 2. The task force that the governor assembled saw an opportunity to attract unique, large-scale shows and events that couldn't currently be accommodated at other regional event spaces. They also discussed parking and traffic issues that you're familiar with here at the State Fair. The governor accepted these recommendations, and today I'm excited to announce we are moving forward on a state-of-the-art exposition center at the State Fair, and I know you're keeping an eye on the different images because we have images and maps. At 133,000 square feet, it will be the largest expo center between Boston and Cleveland, and the largest north of New York City. Let's hear it for that. And if some of you don't know where Cleveland is, it's west. And it's in a state, I forgot the name of the state. I can't remember any other state names, actually. A request for proposals will be issued today for this multi-purpose exposition building. And I think we have another slide of that up. Rather than compete with existing event halls, this new expo center is sized and configured to attract unique, larger, and equipment-heavy events. How good looking is that? How about all those cars right there? Anyone here have a car? The building is designed to be flexible, to accommodate the various needs of different acts, shows, and attractions. The Expo Center can seat up to 4,000 people, ideal for sporting events, equine and animal competitions, consumer and trade shows, motocross, and equipment shows. The roughly $50 million construction project will be complemented by substantial parking improvements, and we just passed it at the Orange Lot, and a new highway exit to ease traffic. No one wants to be stuck in traffic. The project will include a new road around the lot, full paving, environmentally friendly storm water management, 500 new parking spaces, and cashless Easy Pass entry. All right, give it up for Easy Pass entry. Visitors will also benefit from a permanent exit ramp to I-690 westbound from the west end of the parking lot, speeding up egress during fair and non-fair events. Not that we ever want you to leave. We just want you to stay. In addition, in order to maximize the use of the new expo building and the entire 375-acre State Fair campus on non-fair days throughout the year, we will be issuing an RFP this fall for a non-fair private events operator manager to attract and promote additional shows and events, which is a great idea that can activate this site and make it an economic driver throughout the year. Best of all, the new expo is slated for completion before the start of the 2018 State Fair. So that's something to look forward to. This governor gets things done, and he invests in Central New York, and that's why Central New York is rising. He invests in innovation through Genius New York and Tech Garden. He invests in the UAS industry, unmanned aerial systems to complement that video game. He invests in downtown revitalization, and you see it all over Central New York and in downtown Syracuse. He invests in infrastructure, in airports, in the state fair. He invests in business growth, in tradable sectors of the economy, in tourism. He invests in this region in every possible way imaginable. He has a relentless pursuit of progress. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what leadership looks like and feels like. It is my pleasure to introduce Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here. This is an exciting day, opening day. I love being at the fair. Let me acknowledge all the great people who are here. First, you heard from Howard Zemsky, who was head of economic development. We call him Howard Stick to the Script Zemsky. Do not deviate from the script. He's doing a great job in economic development. There are hiccups. He was a judge on the beer competition that we held. He did sample all 20 beers. Economic development in the state of New York suffered for the next 3 weeks, by the way. There was a dip in the number of jobs we brought in. But he's up and functioning again, so we thank him for that, and he's doing a great job all across the state. Give him a big round of applause, Howard Zemsky. York County Executive Joni Mahoney, Howard's exactly right. To me, government is about getting things done, making a difference, making change. It's not about debating, it's not about politics, it's not about press releases. Get something done. It's that simple. And Joni Mahoney is a doer. She gets things done, and she's making this county a better county. Let's give her a round of applause. Commissioner Richard Ball, who's the Commissioner of Agriculture, who runs this fair, has done a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. We have just about the whole cabinet here, all the different commissioners, so I don't think there's a lot going on in the rest of the state of New York today, but let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank them for joining us. And my colleagues from the Assembly and the Senate who are here, who have been great to work with, let's give them a round of applause. I love the fair. I love the tradition of the fair. I love the history of the fair. And even more, I'm excited about the future for the fair. And to me, the fair is really a metaphor for upstate New York. When it started 114 years ago, it was one of the first in the nation. It was New York breaking ground, New York doing something that no other state was doing. It was New York ambition, New York creativity, New York boldness, New York initiative. And we built this magnificent facility and we led the nation. And then we sort of fell into the status quo. And the fair didn't really get redeveloped. The fair really didn't change. It wasn't really updated. 114 years old. I don't care how good looking you are, you need a little work after a while. There was one year that I came, I was drinking a Diet Coke. I put it down on a picnic bench. I forgot I put it down. I walked away. Next year I came back, Diet Coke was in the exact same place. You got the sense that we had lost our energy and lost our initiative. And in many ways, that was a metaphor for upstate New York. Glorious past, great companies, all across upstate New York. Economy changed, they left. And there was no act two, there was no stage two, there was nothing that came in to do the redevelopment. I was Attorney General at the time. I remember meeting with your county executive, and she said, you know, state government just isn't there to help us make the transition that we need to make. And I can't do it on my own. I remember meeting with Mayor Bob Duffy, mayor of Rochester. He said the same thing. We need the state government to come in and be a partner. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown said the same thing. We need the state government to come in and be a partner. And the truth is the state government was too focused on downstate New York, both the Assembly and the Senate. That's the truth. Why? Because most of the legislature is elected from downstate New York. About 80% come from downstate New York. And the legislators want to do for their home district, and they were all from downstate New York. And upstate New York got the short end of the stick year after year after year for decades. And this fair and the lack of renovation in the fair was a perfect metaphor for that. And that was one of my prime movers to run for governor, because the need in this state was in upstate. That's where we needed the economic help. That's where people were leaving. That's where businesses were leaving. And I don't care about the politics downstate and upstate. Doing the right thing was investing in upstate New York. And that is exactly what we have done. And I am so proud to be able to tell you that my administration has invested more in upstate New York than any administration in the history of the state of New York. So it is a new day in upstate New York, and this fair is a metaphor for it. We did the infrastructure work because we needed a lot of infrastructure work at the fair. I don't know if you remember, you'd walk around and there'd be puddles everywhere and boards that you would have to step through. We didn't have the piping, we didn't have the electrical system, etc. We now put in a whole RV parking area that is state-of-the-art, doing work on the streets, the parking lots, the streets surrounding the fair. So we've done a lot of work, and now we're going to take it to the next dimension. Well, first, we have the Sky Ride this year, which is new, which I'm excited to get on. I was one of the first 100 people through the fair today, so I get a free ride on the fair, and that's why, because I was one of the first 100, not because I'm the governor, but because I got up early. And I'm excited about the Sky Ride. I'm even more excited for the new Expo Center next year. 130,000 square feet. Just think of this. It is the largest convention expo center north of New York City, in the entire Northeast. That will change this venue from not just 13 days a year, but a year-round economic engine. We can attract national shows to come to this venue, and that's good for the entire metropolitan region. You bring people to come to see a car show or a horse show or an equipment show, that's good for Hotel Syracuse, that's good for the restaurants, that's good for the shops. Tourism is a phenomenal economic engine for upstate New York. It's one of the great engines that's been doing good work. Part of not focusing on upstate New York was that the state really didn't promote upstate New York. And from a tourism point of view, we get 50 million visitors a year to this state, but they went to New York City. And they didn't know that there was anything north of New York City. You talk to the visitors in New York City, they thought once you got north of New York City, you were like in New Hampshire. Nobody told the story of upstate and what we have. And if you want to have a really great New York experience, great, enjoy New York City. But then come see upstate New York, where we have some of the most beautiful history and topography and lakes, just everything you could imagine in upstate New York. So we invested $70 million in the I Love New York campaign to tell the story of upstate New York. Tourism is now a $100 billion enterprise for the state of New York. Last year, an all-time high in the number of tourists coming to New York, 239 million, up 36 million visitors. So it works, but you need the attractions, and you need to keep growing, and you need to keep developing, and that's exactly what this Expo Center is going to do. It's another great reason to come to Central New York. Another great reason to come to the fair. We broke the record last year for fair attendance. I believe with this Expo Center next year, we're going to break the record again next year and the year after, and we're going to have year-round economic activity right here at the fair. So, today, you could not have a more glorious day to open the fair, not just in terms of weather, but because upstate New York and central New York and this fair are better and stronger and brighter than they have ever been before. And the future is even brighter. Enjoy the fair. It's my pleasure to be here. Let's go and let's have fun.
Thank you, Governor. And now I would like to introduce a talented group of 10th graders from Cicero North Syracuse High School. They won the 3rd annual State Fair State Star-Spangled Banner Challenge to sing the national anthem, and then we're going to cut the ribbon. So Cicero North Syracuse.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet